In Activity 3, Planetary Orbits Are Not Circles, students first build a setup to draw a circle, and then modify the setup to draw an ellipse. From their investigations, students learn that the shape of a planet's orbit is an ellipse. You'll need the following materials from the kit. Activity Sheet 3, cardboard squares, pushpins, metric rulers, roll of string, and a roll of masking tape. You'll also need to provide 8.5 by 11 sheets of plain paper, satellite model from Activity 2, pencils, and scissors. To prepare for the activity, make a copy of Activity Sheet 3 for each student. Cut a 25 centimeter length of string for each team of 2, and tie the ends of the string in a secure knot to form a loop. Make sure to trim off the ends of the string above the knot. Stretched out, the loop should measure no more than 10 centimeters. Each team of 2 will need a piece of cardboard, a pencil, 2 pushpins, 2 pieces of plain paper, a metric ruler, a string loop, and access to the roll of masking tape. Next, construct a demonstration for making circles and ellipses. Tape a piece of plain white paper to one of the corrugated cardboard squares from the kit and use a metric ruler to measure and draw a line lengthwise across the center of the paper. Then put a dot at the midpoint of the line and label it C. Measure 4 centimeters from C along the line. Make another dot and label this dot X. Finally, measure 4 centimeters from C along the line in the other direction. Make a third dot and label this dot S. To draw a circle, press a pushpin into the dot labeled C. Make sure to leave just enough space under the head of the pushpin for the string loop. Place the string loop under the head of the pushpin and then lace the tip of the pencil in the loop and pull gently to take up the slack. Finally, draw a circle as you move the pencil around the pushpin, while making sure to keep tension on the string. To draw an ellipse, stick pushpins into dots S and X and place the same string loop around them both. Insert the tip of the pencil into the loop and pull gently to take up the slack. While maintaining gentle tension on the loop of string, draw a line as you move the pencil around the 2 pushpins. Make sure to practice using the setup to make circles and ellipses so that you can assist students later on. To begin the activity, demonstrate the satellite system model from Activity 2 and review the concepts of orbit and satellite. While spinning the satellite system model, ask students what shape would they draw to represent the orbit of this satellite. Most students will probably respond that they would draw a circle to represent the orbit of the satellite. Next, define circle as a closed curved line on which all points are equidistant from its center. Then demonstrate how to use the setup to draw a circle. Remember to label the shape for the class. Next, hand out a copy of Activity Sheet 3 to each student. Divide the class into teams of 2 and distribute the materials to the class. During the activity, make sure to have the roll of masking tape available. Go over the directions on the activity sheet with the class. Instruct students to use the setups to draw circles, helping them as necessary. Each student should draw and label the shape on their own piece of paper. Suggest that they tape a piece of paper to one side of the cardboard. This way, pairs of students can use alternate sides by flipping the piece of cardboard over. After teams have finished drawing circles, define the term focus for the class as the center point of a circle. Then ask students to find the focus of their circles at the letter C. Then hold up one of the team's setups. Point to several points along the circle and explain that the points are all the same distance from the focus. Ask students, does this shape look like the shape of the path of the foam ball in the satellite system model? Students should recognize that yes, the shape looks like the foam ball's path. Introduce the term ellipse to the students and explain that an ellipse looks like a circle that has been stretched out. Further explain that the actual shape of a satellite's orbit resembles an ellipse, not a circle. Guide students to understand that as a satellite moves through space, it interacts with the gravitational forces of other objects, besides the sun, which influence the shape of the satellite's path. Next, demonstrate how to modify student setups and show them the ellipse that you've drawn. Provide a second pushpin to each team and have the students modify their setups, following the directions on the activity sheet. Then instruct students to draw and label their ellipses on the same sheet of paper with the circle. Remind the class that a circle has one focus, and explain that the plural of the word focus is foci. Ask students, how many foci does an ellipse have? And what are the foci labeled in your setup? The students should identify two foci, labeled S and X, in the setup. Explain to the class that the distance between the foci on their setup determines the flatness of the ellipse. The farther apart the foci are, the flatter the ellipse will be. Then, review with students that all planets orbit the Sun, and that the shape of planetary orbits is elliptical. Further explain that this orbit has one focus, the Sun, and then instruct students to label .s with the word Sun. Ask students to imagine that the ellipse that they've drawn is the Earth's orbit. Then ask, is Earth the same distance from the Sun at all times during its orbit? The students should understand that the Earth is not the same distance from the Sun at all times. Encourage students to reflect on which point in its orbit the Earth is closest to the Sun, and at which point in its orbit the Earth is farthest from the Sun. To illustrate, students may point to their models, where the arc is closest and farthest from focus S. Next, define the word perihelion for the class, as the point in the Earth's orbit where Earth is closest to the Sun. Then define the word aphelion as the point at which the Earth is farthest from the Sun. Finally, have students complete Activity Sheet 3. To conclude the activity, have students entitle their papers Circle and Ellipse, write their names on them, and then remove the sheets from the cardboard and save them for use in later activities. Return all items to the kit. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.